Facebook, family, and friends. What's happening, y'all? It's been a couple weeks. It's been a busy time for me. Let me shut this ringer off here, you guys. What's going on? 9 o'clock, Friday night. Got a lot of shit to talk about. Uh, it's been a rough couple weeks here, man. Like, it has been rough, you guys. It seems like it's getting rougher every week, you know? Like, things are getting worse, not better. There's a lot of what can we do out there talking. Well, what can we do about it? What can we do about it? What can we do about it? Y'all know how I feel, right? Like, we talk about that shit on a regular. Like, how do I feel about what can we do about it? First off, we can do a lot of shit. Like, so I had a pretty long week. Not a bad week, just a long week. Got to meet with some people that I never thought, you know, someone like me would meet. I know what you're gonna say. It's you, Monte. You meet a lot of people, make a lot of friends, right? I do. I do. I'm pretty blessed, right? I'm pretty lucky. I meet some pretty amazing human beings. Uh, hey, Jane, how you doing? What's up, Chris? I miss you, bro. I just seen you guys. Um, it's been a tragic couple weeks, man, and I don't recommend living in fear. I didn't. What's up, brother? Look at that cool cat. Just like you, bro. Thank you for that advice today. Like, I'm gonna bang it out tomorrow. Hopefully that'll get the 300 back up and running. I miss my baby girl, and I'll look out at the hearse and see if I can do if that's what it is. I'll let you know, bro. If you get free time, hit me up, man. Head through. So this week has been tragic, right? The situation in uh, last couple weeks, the situation in Milwaukee, the situation in Texas, like it's popping up everywhere. I don't know what to do about that, right? Like, I, I don't know how to fix that situation, right? Mental health, it's, you know, social disorders. I don't know. Taking guns away would help. I don't know, right? So I'm not going to make any real opinion. I just know it's sad and it's scary, right? Like Lizzie and I talked, and a friend of mine sent me a link to a place that provides bulletproof plating for children's backpacks. Like, my friend felt that I needed to see this because I have two little girls in school, and we're gonna buy them, right? Like, I don't know if that's, uh, I don't know if that's fear or yeah, it's fear, man. I'm terrified. I send my babies to school every day. It's hard. It's hard, right? And that's what we're doing here, right? That's what we talk about every week: is how do we make our world better? I never thought I'd have to say I have to buy bulletproof plating for my 7 and 8-year-old daughter's backpacks. And I have to teach them how to use it. They have to know that, if they're running away, they keep it on their back. If they're turning to face them, they move it to their front. They're 7 years old. Alana just turned 8. That's frightening, man. It's terrifying. You know, I don't care where you sit on the spectrum, whether you're pro-gun, anti-gun. Um, the reality is we have gun laws in place, right? That's why you got to wait 3 days and you get background checks and all that. It still hasn't worked, right? Like, most of these mass shooters don't have any type of mental or criminal history. How do you protect against that? They don't have anything in their history to say they shouldn't have a gun. And all of them are legal gun owners. Like, for the majority of them, they were legal gun owners. Like, what do we do? Like, you can ban guns. You can say, oh, we're going to ban all guns in the United States. But the reality is, how are you going to take them away? How can you enforce that? Like, you're going to tell me you're going to send a goon squad to every single person's house in the United States to search them for a fucking gun? Like, you know how many millions of guns are out there? How do you fix this? Right? So I don't know. So that's why I come to you guys, right? Like, there's the deal, right? I come to you guys so I can hear what you have to say, so the world can hear what you have to say, so we can share this. Like, we got some good exposure here in the last couple months. I met Alex Lassery yesterday. He's running for state senator, and you guys know how I feel. Like, all politicians are scumbags for the most part to me. Very rarely do I believe anything that they spout off. But he was pretty open and honest, right? Like, there were some questions. It was a small group of us. Yeah, I hear you, Chris. And I get it, leaving it up to God. But I'm not leaving my children up to his discretion. Like, you know, I don't get down with the God talk, but if I did, I'm still not going to leave it up to his discretion, right? I'm going to take every precaution I can possibly take to make sure my kids make it. Like, I've lost one, man. I couldn't fathom losing another. And so I'll do anything I have to make sure I won't. Like, if it gets to that point, I'll fucking homeschool. I don't know. But so I met this Alex Lassery yesterday. And it was funny because while we were talking, one of the questions asked to him was, it was about driver's licenses for undocumented workers. And I'm expecting him to do the far left dance around bullshit promise that, well, I'll definitely fight for that. Like, I'll push and we'll get them. Like, well, it'll happen if I'm senator. Man, dude, this dude was so straight up. He was like, listen, he was like, unless they turn it to a federal driver's license, that's state controlled, and you live in a sea of red states with gerrymandering that's, you know, almost impossible to break that sea of red states. He was like, don't hold your breath. That shit ain't happening. And I looked over. I was like, good answer, bro. Good answer. But I went in on him, right? You guys know how I am. I don't take, I don't care if you're a billionaire, and he's a billionaire. I don't care if, you know, you're a politician or you know, famous. That shit don't impress me, man. Like, and so I went in on him, right? Like, I'm unrelenting. I'm banging him with questions. I'm banging him with open-ended questions, like, answer me this. And, you know, he was real cool and calm, and he just answered, and I said, no, say we all support you, we all talk about you, we get you into office. What then? How do we talk to you then? He's like, you fucking call me, Monty. And I'm like, how am I going to call you? Took my phone and put his phone number into it. I was like, what? He was like, text me anytime. We'll talk. He was like, really interested in seeing your show. Maybe we'll do a live back and forth where we can talk about, you know, our community. He was like, we don't even have to talk about my politics. He was like, we'll just talk about what I think we can do to help our communities. So I was pretty impressed with him. But again, like, we'll hold out hope and wait, see how it goes. It's just a scary time, you guys. And, like, how do we move forward without letting fear rule our lives, right? I know I'm going to take precautions, right? As sad as I feel about it, Lizzie and I are going to purchase and teach our children how to use the bulletproof backpack. And it's not bulletproof, right? Nothing's bulletproof for the most part. There's a bullet that'll penetrate almost anything. But it'll definitely give them a better chance at life. Like, whoever thought we would have to think about that, man? I remember, I don't know. I don't know, you guys. It's been scary. It's been a very hard couple of weeks for our country and our community. Like it seems like every time one thing passes, the next one pops up. And how do we stay hopeful? How do we stay um, positive and strong and continue towards our goals of independence and a better community and uh, financial security? And you know, these are the things we really have to focus on, especially in our community, right? Like the urban communities and the urban families back in our days. The fist was all we needed. Yeah, I hear you, cutting out, right? Like I grew up a little bit different. Like we fought, like fists were fine, but like there was, I can't say much. East LA was violent. South Central was violent. Like you know, we seen people get stabbed on the daily. So, but no, you're right. Like it's a much more violent time, which is obvious than it was back then. So um, there's truth to that. But you know, I think we as a community should be talking about if we got beat, you took it and sucked it up like a champ, right? You deal with what you got to deal with and you move forward. Like, I got my, hey, Erica, love you, babe. I got my ass beat a time or two. It happens, right? Stand up, shake it off, go at it again if you need to, or you shake hands if you don't. So I want to know how many of you, right? Like, first off, you guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button, uh, hit that share button on public. Otherwise, it won't tell me. So I can't say thank you if you have. Um, I really think for those of us who come from our community, and I'm not talking about just people of color, right? Like I want everyone in this feed to understand when I say our community, I'm not just talking about the BIPOC and the POC community, right? Like I will, Erica. Our community here in Racine is diverse, right? Even our poor neighborhoods. Thank you, sweetie. Oh yeah, it just notified me too. Thanks, Erica. Um, our community is pretty diverse, right? We got a good mix of nationalities. So when I say urban, I'm talking about all of us, right? What is the best way for us to grow our financial strengths, our political strengths, and our future, right? Think about that. We need to learn how to create generational wealth within our community. And for those of you who don't understand what I mean by generational wealth, I mean exactly that generational wealth. Wealth that we leave to our children, who can leave it to their children, who can leave it to their children, right? We're talking about Rockefeller. We're talking about Bill Gates. We're talking about Cheeto Head, right? They have generational wealth, right? Wealth that is passed down from family member to family member, from family member for years and years and years and generations. We have to actively seek a path that will help us build those things. Now, there's roadblocks, right? In the urban community, men and women of color specifically um, are much less likely to be able to achieve that unless we work together, right? Like we work together, we support each other, we support each other's businesses, we support each other's neighborhoods and communities. It's possible. It's still hard, right? There's all kinds of roadblocks in our way, but that together doesn't mean we can't do it, right? So as hopeless as things sound and seem today and over the last week or couple weeks, I just dropped an ash. I hate that. I hate smoking. As hopeless as things seem, as a group, together, right? Fighting in the same direction, right? There is hope, right? We can make it happen. We just got to be willing to stand next to each other. Better ash than a soda. You, yeah, I've done both, right? Like, did you just spill a soda on yourself, John? That Texas thing just, I, I can't get past the pain that those families are going through because I went through it, right? Doesn't matter how you lose a kid, the loss of a child is something you never recover from. Doesn't matter how old your son is, daughter is. You got coffee? Me too, bro. Bang, bang. But you're right. That soda I spilled on my computer the other day, that was not fucking fun. And an ash is way better than another soda. It took me that long to figure out what you meant by it. Inside joke. But yes, you are correct. Way fucking better than a soda, bro. If you guys don't know, last week I came into my office. I set a soda down on the corner of my desk, turned to do one thing, turned to do another thing, reached over, knocked my soda, fell directly upside down into my computer. I ripped the cord out of the wall, like immediately, just snatched it out of the wall. My hand was right there, and then cried for like 8 minutes. And then immediately called my brother John and said, I fucked up. Thankfully, he gave me the advice I needed. I was able to clean it and fix it myself. 22 reported school shootings for this year. Jesus Christ, John. Like, man, that's horrifying. I don't know if you heard, me and Lizzie are buying bulletproof plating for the insides of Danica and Alana's backpacks. They're lightweight, they're easy to install, and they can stop all the way up to a 223. I don't know what else to do, bro. Like, I spend every day, and we keep thinking, well, it's Wisconsin, it's Racine, it can't happen, it ain't gonna happen here, but it happens anywhere. Like, there's no fucking rhyme or reason to where it happened. It's not all happening in one area or all happening in another area. Like, it's just fucking happening, and we're not getting any relief. And like I was saying earlier, man, like, even if we had fucking gun laws, we got gun laws now. They ain't fucking working, right? Like, even if we said, let's take all the guns away, how are we going to do that? Like, and what's worse is with the gun laws, yeah, we got gun laws, but the people who are doing these, like, they're not criminals and they don't have obvious mental health and they're legal gun owners. Like, what the fuck, man? I don't know. I don't have an answer. I know I have a lot of fear, like, and I get it. Like, I used to like guns too a lot. Like, you guys know what happened with that one. My fantasy was guns. Like, so what are we gonna do? Especially here in Racine. You know, when the bar owner was murdered in his parking lot after asking for police assistance and being denied police assistance, I made a live that I hope you guys seen, discussing prayer, because everybody was like, we need to. It's so easy to get a gun nowadays, but like through internet and shit like that. Yeah, everybody was talking about, we need a prayer circle. We need a prayer circle. They were posting it all over the internet. Somebody tagged me in it. And they're like, one day you should go to this prayer circle. Like, join our community leaders to talk about it. Like, people listen to you. And I was like, fuck you and your prayer circle. I'm sorry, you guys. But like, I was insulted. Like, I was super insulted. Jesus Christ. 30 dead, 40 injured. There's school shootings. Does that list include the regular mass shootings, like the Milwaukee situation? Like, that's just the school shootings? Jesus Christ. So somebody had asked me to join a prayer circle. 46. Jesus. Somebody asked me to join a prayer circle, and I became insulted, and I wrote, what good has your prayer done over the last 20 years? Like all of you who are, and I gave an example of how I felt about it. When I was in prison, I was in a minimum security prison, and this was mid 2000s, 2013, no, 13, 2006 or 7 or 8. I think it was 8. Madison flooded, and I was in Oak Hill, and just reported school shootings. Jesus. A bunch of us volunteered to build sandbags for the community, and we weren't getting paid for it at first. We didn't ever expect to get paid for us. There was like 9 of us. We just said, "Hey, let's go build sand. Let's talk to the captain and see if the warden will let us build sandbags here in the prison, and they can ship them out there and give them to these people for free. They're running out of sandbags. They don't have anybody to make them. They're just fighting to keep their houses." And like 9 of us jumped for it, right? We were like, "Hey, let's do this." And we did it. And we'd be out there every day from 5 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night building sandbags. Like that's all we fucking did every day. And it sucked. It was hot. It was raining. We had 2 weeks straight of rain. So we were doing it in the rain, wet sand, bags, heat, humidity, and, 9 fat people, right? And we needed help, but nobody wanted to help because we weren't getting paid for it. And we were suckers for doing it, right? But I didn't care. I just wanted to make sandbags. I thought I could do something to help somebody. And the church group came by, and there was between 20 and 30 guys holding their Bibles, walking up to the chapel. We were in the parking area of the chapel at the prison, which sounds weird, but they had like golf carts that they would park that the prison staff used and drove. And so the lead dude, the guy who ran their prayer circle, was like, "We're going in here to pray for you, brother." And I got immediately angry, like, which is that's the theme of my life, right? Me and anger, right? It's my issue, anger, right? So I got angry, and I was like, I said, "Hey, bro, don't pray for me. Come help me dig God out from underneath the sand pile. God's right here. He's under the sand pile. Help me dig him out." And the guy looked at me funny, and I was like, "I ain't fucking playing with you, bro." I was like, "God's right here in the sand pile. Come help us dig his ass out," right? Like, you want to do something good, you're going to go into that room and pray. You can pray right here with a shovel and a bag, and you can do his work for his children if that's what you believe in, right? Like, I wasn't Christian. I didn't believe in that, but like, how are you going to tell me you're doing God's work when you're going to go sit in your house, your house of worship and pray, right? And not help, and not help. So for all of you out there who are talking about, oh, the police need to crack down, our city officials need to, our city officials need to get it under control. Fuck you. Fuck you. If that's what you think, then you're an idiot. They can't do shit without us. You want to hold them accountable, hold yourself accountable. Like, what we need to do is get our city officials, our police force, and ourselves out there in them fucking streets together and walk them. You see someone on your street corner selling dope or with a pistol, videotape them, call 911, then videotape the cops when they get there. Hold the dude accountable, then hold the cop accountable. Make sure he does his job right. Make sure dude doesn't stay on the street, right? Hold everybody accountable. Everybody's got a cell phone. Everybody's got fucking video capabilities, right? Some lady was like, "Oh, and get shot for being a rat." You got just as best a chance of getting shot anyways. Like, you're not increasing your chances. Like, you get shot fucking sitting at a goddamn gas station or going to school or walking to a fucking Bucks game. You just got the same shot. Are you going to hide in your fucking house the rest of your life? Like, let's be real, people. Like, we want our public officials to be held accountable, but we can't hold ourselves accountable. What are we doing? Are we sitting on our asses? Right? Is that what we're doing? We're too afraid to stand up. I'm not going to hold Officer John Q. Law over here accountable, and Mayor whatever Mason accountable, and I'm not doing anything to help. Like, I'm not doing anything. What do I expect them to do something for? You're not doing anything. What do you? How many of you guys got the fuck out there and voted last time the elections came through? When was the last time you made your voice heard? Oh, well, my vote really doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't because you don't do anything with it. Like, do you know that? Hold on. Oh, listen, I got John using him as a work gang song. Hell yeah, we could have did anything, right? And they didn't. Like, these guys went into the church and spent an hour and a half in there praying, right? Praying their hearts out for us, and then went back to their cells. Like, and dude was like, we prayed for you. Fuck you and your prayers. That's what I told him. I thought I was in trouble because I didn't know the warden was there. She was like behind me with a captain, and they were coming out to talk to us and thank us for what we were doing. And the church guy was walking by and he was like, we prayed for you, brother. And I was like, fuck you and your prayer. God's here in the sand pile. I told you, bro. Come up, come help us dig him out, right? And the captain goes, Seymour. And I turned around and I was like, and I seen the warden, Deidre Morgan. Hey, Jim Bob, I love you too. Deidre Morgan was the warden, and she was like a hardliner, right? Like, everybody hated her when she was a parole commissioner and as a warden. And I thought I was done for, right? Like, I was disruptive. I was cursing. I was like, there's all kinds of rules in prison that you can't break. And telling someone, fuck you, as loud as you can in the middle of the church parking lot is one of the things you can't do in prison. And so I turned, I seen the captain and I seen the warden, and I was like, damn, I'm done. Like, I'm out here trying to get this guy to help, and now I'm going to the hole. And she walked over and she put her hand on my shoulder and she said, thank you. And I was like, what? And she was like, you're right. She was like, get me a shovel. She sat out there for like 2 hours and shoveled with us. Didn't have to. Didn't get any credit for it. She didn't go like to the press or, you know, she just sat out there with us, and a captain made the captain help. He was cool. He helped. Like, they just helped, right? Like, that was more impressive to me than these hardcore convicts going into the thing and praying to Jesus that, you know, some miracle happens and the flooding stops. You know, that was the year that Lake Delton emptied. It overflowed and was emptied, right? Like, and I remember after we were done, we did like 16,000 sandbags, and it was like a 3-week period, a 2-week period. We did 16 or 17,000 sandbags, and we got cards from the residents in Lake Delton area, the Lake Delton area and Madison, telling us how much they loved us and how appreciative and how many homes we saved. And as pussy as this is, I sat in my room and cried. I sat in my cell and cried because I felt like I didn't do enough sandbags. Swear to God, you guys, like, I wasn't proud. I wasn't happy. I was like, well, how many houses didn't get saved, right? Like, if those 30 fucking dudes helped us make us, could we have made 27,000 fucking sandbags? Could we have made 37,000 sandbags, right? Like, if these motherfuckers had just got off their fucking asses and helped. That's the same situation now. You don't like where our city's going? Get off your fucking ass. You don't like what our city's doing? Do something to make it better. Like, stop holding our elected officials and our police accountable for shit that you're not accountable for. You see these fucking drug dealers on the corner. You see dude with the pistol on the side of the street. You see that dude at the gas station smacking some broad, right? You see the kids on the corner beating the shit out of somebody. Do fucking something. Like, how are we holding everybody else accountable but not ourselves? It don't make no fucking sense. Like, I live in a really nice neighborhood now, you guys. I'm not in the hood no more. I moved all the way out by 6 months. Anytime the police are in my area and their lights are on and they're pulling someone over, arresting somebody, doing something, I record them. Do you know all the cops out here know me? They all like me. We're all friends. I've been stopped more times and not gotten a ticket than I've gotten a ticket. They respect me. I respect them. When they ask me what I'm doing, I keep my distance. Let them know. I'm just recording, bro. Just making sure you're good and he's good. Making sure if he lies on you, I got the video. Making sure if you lie on him, I got the video. They don't hate me for it. And fuck them if they did. I wouldn't care. We can't expect to change our world if we don't do shit to change it. Y'all can get here on Facebook and type keyboard warrior shit about how shitty racing is. I hate that, man. I hear you. I hear not you guys, but I hear people on talking about how shitty racing is. Fuck racing. Racing's a shithole. Move away. That's why it's a shithole. You're just as bad as the people fucking committing crime. Just up and abandon your family, your friends, your community. You're not going to stand with them. What are you going to do? Like, I sit up here week after week doing videos and like formers. I get out there in the community and do my thing. I'm meeting with community leaders. I sat down and I just talked to Olga White. She's our rep out in Wind Point. Joey Charo. Like, we're trying to build something to make our community better. And the number one problem is nobody wants to join. Nobody wants to become a part of something that's going to make things better. But we want to sit here and cry about it. I don't understand. Like, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm going to be about it. And as many of you who want to come with me, let's do this. Let's get a hold of the chief of police. Let's get a hold of the mayor and say holding prayer vigils aren't enough. Let's walk these streets together. You want to see some kind of improvement? Let's make it better. That's the truth. And I love you guys. I love how much you put into responding and talking and sharing and being a part of this shit. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me, right? Like, I've only been home 9.5 years. I stood next to a billionaire yesterday. This guy's a billionaire. Slapped my hand, gave me the man hug, talked like regular dudes. I love you too, Britt. I miss you, sweetie. Hit me up later. We'll talk about group. I'm tired of being afraid for the safety of the people I love. I'm tired of worrying about my children and my nieces and my nephews and my great nieces and my great nephews and my cousins' kids and my cousins. And I'm tired of hearing people talk about how shitty it is, but aren't willing to do anything to change it. You go online and say, yeah, our mayor needs to do this. He's a piece of shit. Our chief of police ain't even from Racine. I know. I'm Cincinnati. So what? Like, he's in here trying. Why aren't we down there trying with him? You know, he had a press conference the other day, and I was driving by, and I noticed it, and I knew they were going to have one, and I parked, and I walked over, and I stood with them. And there was like 2 civilians, and the rest were media, and him, and some cops. Like, we all got to be there. We should have all been there together. I should have went live. I realized that afterwards, right? That was something I could have publicized live, let you guys publicize live and let you guys know. And they called you guys down there to ask them questions, to show support for our community. Like, sometimes I just don't know, man. And that's what this show was about from the get-go, right? Our community, our responsibility. Like, our community, our responsibility. Our community, our responsibility. Right? Like, isn't that what it's supposed to be? Why do we need people coming into our neighborhoods to police us when we can take care of our own shit? And we don't like them when they come there. I'm like, You know, the last 3 or 4 elections I watched, I was doing some studying. I ain't got the numbers now, but it's been like 10 years. None of our local elections have been decided by like more than 100 votes. Like it's been 100 votes or less that decide 90% of the elections here in our local area. That means 100 votes swings an election to one side or the other. 100 votes. I started a little group called the Racine Area Urban Voting Group. And I think I'm going to change the name at some point to the Voting League or whatever. And what I want to do is I want to build a voter block that we can levy against politicians to hold them accountable when they don't follow through on their promises. I can't think of what else to do when it comes to our politicians, right? Like, I don't know how else to hold them accountable than to make sure that they don't get reelected, right? But I got to do something. And I think that's the point today, you guys. We got to do something. Like, we got to make a difference somehow. I'm 46 years old. I probably got 20 years in me if I'm lucky, maybe 30, right? Let's say 76. That's a good old age, right? I can't leave knowing I didn't try. And I never really thought about dying, right? Like, that's something relatively new to me. I've lived my entire life as if I was immortal, right? Like, I've been shot, I've been stabbed, I was beat with a bat, beat with bricks. There were more times that I should have died than I shouldn't have, right? Like, and I'm still here. And so I always just kind of like live life like it was always going to be life. When my son died, I started really thinking about my mortality and thinking about the legacy I was going to leave behind. And was that legacy going to be silent? Was it going to be bad? Or was it going to be good? I would rather have a bad one than a silent one. But I'm going to work my hardest to leave behind a legacy of hope, love, happiness, strength, community. There was a time when I agreed with the open revolt anarchist punk, old punks growing up, and learned the only way to change the system is within. The only true power we have in government is banding together and holding them accountable with the vote. I agree, bro. Like, I was that same dude, right? I was like, burn it to the ground. Like, everything I had from the ages of 13 through 29 had a smashed anarchy symbol on it. Like, well, fuck, destroy the government. Then what do we do, right? When we were kids, we're like, we'll live in a utopia. There'll be no pigs. There'll be no politicians. There'll be no corporations. Who's going to make your toilet paper, motherfucker? Who's going to develop your fuel? Who's going to make fucking your military protect you? Like, yeah, set it on fire, watch it burn, right? Like, I lived that life, bro. You're right? Like, that was the whole group. That was the whole thing, man. Late 70s, early 80s. That was the shit. Now I'm fucking 46 thinking like, well, who's going to make sure my toilet flushes? Who's going to make sure, I have electricity? I mean, we can do that. We can set it down and burn, but we're not going to like life afterwards, right? Like, we all like our amenities. We want our StreamYard. We want our Facebook. We want our fucking TikTok, right? Like, if we burn it to the ground, we don't get none of that, you guys. Like, we like grocery stores. Burn it to the ground, and you're going to have to learn how to hunt, right? Like, you're going to have to find meat somehow, right? We need it. The government is a necessary evil. But it's only evil because we allowed it to become evil. And it's only continuing to be evil because we allow it to continue to be evil. Did you know if 31%, I think it was 31 or 32% of the black and brown voted, we could swing any election. That's it. 3 out of 10 people, we can get that. Last election, we got like 12%. Fuck you mean, right? Like, it's so simple. And yes, they make it harder for us to vote. Yes, the gerrymandering has destroyed all kinds of shit. The voters' restrictions in all kinds of states have really set shit on Jim Crow level, right? So what do? Bus it. Like, if you got a car and you're going to vote, and you know there's like 11 of your friends who are eligible to vote but don't have a ride, fucking pick them up, bitch. Like, what do you want me to say? Right? What we can't do is allow people to continuously destroy our freedom, right? And our safety, and not be accountable. You know, it's funny, I have supported conservative Republicans for a long time. And Cheeto had broke my heart, right? Like, that whole thing by the Republican Party destroyed my ability to believe in them as a party ever again, right? Like, at least a party of common sense, or any type of intelligence. When Matt Gaetz said the only reason why people had diabetes is they were fat and lazy, and if they got off their asses and exercised, they wouldn't have diabetes. That's when I realized the Republican Party has gone completely apeshit, right? When MTJ is spouting off QAnon theories as fact and people are embracing it, that's off the res, man. Like, you guys are gone. When they're calling school shootings fake news and people are supporting them, you're talking about men and women who lost their children, and you just completely, like, I hope even those two never experience that loss. Like, even as much as I hate what they said and who they are as human beings, I hope they never experience what those families experience. But they need to be held accountable. We need to hold them accountable. We need to hold ourselves accountable. My challenge to all of you is, if you think Racine sucks, if you think we have a shitty town, if you think things are only going to get worse and you want it to get better, I love you too, John. Like, you are my blood, bro. If you want it to get better, I challenge you to do something about it. Don't care what it is. Small thing, big thing, whatever it is. Organize. Whatever it is, I challenge you to do something. I challenge you to not talk about it, but to be about it. We're making some big changes in Racine. I promise you. We got a core group of people who are now getting together on a regular basis. We're going to rebuild our city, with or without you. And I hope if you're one of the ones who are sitting on your ass at your house talking shit about, how horrible Racine is, when we fix it and it's a better place, I hope you get the fuck out, because you ain't helping shit. You ain't been a part of change. That's what I hope. And for all of you who get your asses up and do something, whatever it is, thank you. I love you. I'm going to go because I don't know if you noticed, I am exhausted. Like, it's been a rough fucking week. Mentally, emotionally, psychologically, physically. I need rest. So I'm going to bed. Why? Because I am fat and I'm tired. Actually, I'm going to go take a shower because, as you can see, like, I've been working on vehicles all day. How do you like them nails? Ain't them purty? So I'm gonna go take a shower, scrub myself with an SOS pad because that's how I get the grease off. Yes, I literally use an SOS pad. Rinse off, and then I'm gonna get in my bubble bath, my spa bubble bath. I'm gonna get it as scalding hot as I can get it until my skin almost melts away. I'm gonna put some lavender oil in it. I'm gonna turn the jets on and close my eyes until my body's fucking just as loose as I can get it. I'm gonna rinse my fat ass off. I'm gonna crawl into bed, butt ass naked. I'm gonna go to sleep. And the only thing I'm gonna be thinking about is what can we do tomorrow. I love you guys. For those of you who don't know, tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. right here on my page, on Formers Anonymous page, and on the Oak Court page. Formers Anonymous live. Me and Sammy Rangel will be here tomorrow morning talking about how we can rebuild our lives through recovery. And I love you guys. Talk to you later.